Well, I was taking a look at this fuel sending unit. I'm going to replace it, but I'm going to tell you something here. Well, I'm going to show you how it works, but, say you're in a situation where you can't get the part, or, the world caved in or something, you want to fix your fuel sending unit. It's good to know how this works. I know how it works, though. When it's all the way, the fuel is all the way down like that, that's the float is all the way down. You look, it's got less resistance. It should be even less resistance than that, but maybe not. But when the fuel fills up, it goes up, and you notice the resistance goes up. And that's what makes your gauge work. Now, this actually was not doing this before, and I was kind of just curious to see what was wrong with it, because I suspected, it wasn't actually the connection up here, the wire to the connection up here. It was actually where this was riveted to this. This got corroded, and the rivet to this was where it wasn't making good contact. See, I can move this around, and I'm actually turning that stud, and you see it's got infinite resistance, and that'll show that the gauge is all the way full, overfilled. Now if I move it like that, you can see, I just moved this. I'm actually not moving. It's not the connector to the stud. It's actually turning the little stud that's in there. So what you can do with this, let me pull this off here a second. God, yeah, this thing is on there. There it is. This stud going to this. It's got to be, if you had, I guess if you put some solder on here or something like that to this, there's like a washer that insulates this, because this is your ground, right? But this is the wire going to the fuel gauge from the sending unit, and there's like a washer between this and this. Well, this strap is where it's got some corrosion right there. So when I'm turning the stud in this, that's what was the problem. But there was another problem with it anyway. But I'm just pointing this out because you can fix these damn gauges if you had to. And you see it's not working now. See that? Because I got to turn the stud. Here, see? Now, wait a minute. There it is. See? There it is. See, I just moved that strap, and now it's working. It's actually where the strap is connected to that pin is the problem. So what I could probably do is, because I sandblasted it and I started moving it around, and it worked, because I noticed there was no continuity going from this to this. And I said, is there something wrong right in here or something? I don't know. And it was right here. So but you know what? It's really wrong with this. If you move this thing, wiggle this back and forth. Let's see if you just wiggle, not up and down, but just back and forth. Just this going back and forth. That's why you can notice the resistance changes a little bit. That's why the gauge was all flaky. And you move it this way, move it that way. It's probably mostly this shit though. Probably, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to change this out because the sock is all fucked up anyway. But if you needed to, you can, more than likely, you could troubleshoot these damn things and fix them good. Because if I say I sandblasted that, sprayed it down with a little starting fluid, and then put some flux on here and soldered this pin right to that strap and make sure the solder doesn't connect to the body, well, it'd probably freaking last, It would probably last 1,000,000 years, man. See that? So, just want to point that out. And this is how they work. Like if you have the gauge, the gas is down like that. The is basically, it's got a ground. It's making a ground. It's like a slight amount of resistance. And as the thing goes full, it's got more resistance, and that makes the gauge go full. Okay, it's got more resistance. So if there's a break in the wire going back to the sending unit, and it'll say full, and actually the break was right here in the sending unit from this strap to that pin to the cap. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna change this out, but I just want to point this out because, say for instance, you can't get parts. It's the, parts are difficult to get. You're in this survival situation. Say you want to fix this shit. We can fix it. There's a way to fix it, probably. It's usually some bullshit like this. I don't think we're not going into that kind of shit, because I think we are eventually. So anyway, just figured I'd post it. That's how it works, and I can actually fix this shit almost as good as new, but it's gonna get changed, mainly because of this shit. But even this, took some thread or some crap like that, you sewed it up, you're probably alright too. But I'm not that cheap, you know what I'm saying? I'm not that cheap. But it's a simple, this is the beauty of these old cars too, because when you're talking electronics, man, I mean, usually it's a hermetically sealed freaking part that does 8 million functions, and you throw the shit away and it costs you $umpteen. This, it's more like, it's electric, but it's just a simple resistor. This was just a crappy bad connection. That's all it was, man. So anyway, figured I'd post this, and if you say you couldn't find a fuel sending unit, some weird ass car or something, it's like impossible to find, you can do a damn good repair and make your own sock for this damn thing, and it'll work. Save yourself some bucks.